Fayetteville's mayor meets with citizens to discuss efforts aimed at addressing those struggling with homelessness. We'll have the details coming up.
Plus, here's a live look outside, and you can see we got lots of clouds, even some areas of rain. I'll let you know how long that lasts here in just minutes.
And it's been 30 years since Morgan Nick was abducted. We'll take a look at where the case is now and what's next in the investigation. But first, a live look outside in Springdale at 6:30. 5 News This Morning starts now.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, good morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on 5 News This Morning. Tiffany and Danny are off today. So you and me, we're talking about weather, and I'm not sure if it's good news, maybe a little bit of good news, but bad news too.
Yeah, and finally got some good news. We do get a little bit of a break from the rain. Unfortunately, more rain is in store for the forecast. So it's kind of a mix of both. It's typical for this time of year. And it feels like at this point, we're just expecting it from Mother Nature. Here's a look at what we've got. We've got some beautiful areas of the sunrise on some of the cameras, and then some of the other cameras are just kind of gloomy so far this morning. Let's take a look at Springdale this morning. You can see a little bit of that sunrise from a Holiday Inn camera this morning. Temperatures currently around 64 degrees, so not too bad. We do have a couple showers to mention this morning. They're very, very isolated, so not everyone's going to see this activity. If you're commuting this morning in portions of Northwest Arkansas, you may want the umbrella just to be safe so you're not caught off guard by any of this rain activity. But a couple areas of thunder, maybe some light to moderate rain at times, but this activity is quickly diminishing. So give it another 1 or 2 hours and we'll start to see this clear out. Same with those clouds. In the meantime, it's going to be nice and warm before we head out the door this morning. 60s, even some 70s to start off with. Here's a look at that day planner as well. Fantastic forecast ahead once we get past these clouds and this rain this morning. Skies clear. We're leading to 80s, even some mid to upper 80s for portions of the River Valley as well, and sunny skies. So this is the day to get out there, enjoy the pool, enjoy the lake, and get out there while we have a break from the rain. I'll let you know how long that break lasts. In the meantime, let's get a look at your traffic across the region. And we're going to be talking about the traffic in the River Valley with this camera, I-540 in Arkansas River. I wanted to show this camera because A, traffic is flowing normally, but also get a look at that beautiful sunrise there reflecting off the Arkansas River this morning. Just a beautiful view to start off with. No major updates for traffic, so we're going to toss back to news.
All right, thank you for that. Well, breaking overnight, at least 2 people are dead after a shooting in the middle of the Las Vegas Strip. Take a look. Police say this happened right in front of the Bellagio fountains. Traffic cameras from early this morning showing that Las Vegas Boulevard was shut down. Police there on scene. Local media reporting that the gunman appeared to be live streaming during this attack. One official says police believe they have identified the suspect, and this is an isolated incident, but an arrest has not yet been made.
At this point, every effort is being made by members of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to locate, apprehend, and arrest the suspect who is responsible for this crime.
We'll stay here with 5 News This Morning for any updates on this developing story. Well, some happy fans back to our news this morning as the Razorbacks headed back to Omaha for the College World Series. LA took down the Tennessee Volunteers in 2 games over the weekend. The Hogs faced off against pitcher Liam Doyle in this series, clinching the game, ending his day after 3 2/3 innings. Final score, 11-4, as Arkansas won their first Super Regional bomb since 2019, and punching their ticket to the College World Series for the 12th time in program history. Now, after the win, the Razorbacks celebrated with fans at Baum Walker. Next up, Arkansas will face a familiar foe, LSU, and the College World Series this weekend. Now, you can follow all of our coverage of the Diamond Hogs' quest for the World Series. You can find that there on our free 5 News app. Well, today marks 30 years since 6-year-old Morgan Nick disappeared from an Alma ballpark. Since then, the FBI, local authorities, and Morgan's family have been seeking answers. In October last year, investigators named Billy Jack Links as the suspect in the case. He died back in 2000 while serving time in prison for child sexual indecency. Since her disappearance, Morgan's mother and the organization she founded have been working to help find hundreds of other missing children. In a 5 News Plus special back in May, we spoke to her about the organization.
I think the ability to stand with other families and to make sure that they have every resource available, it strengthens our family, knowing that we've changed how this is done and that we see children and missing adults come home safely.
Well, taking a look back at this now 30-year-long case can be found in a 5 News Plus special called Morgan Nick, 30 Years of Searching. You can watch it right now on 5 News Plus. In our continuing coverage this morning, escaped Arkansas inmate Grant Harden is back in custody. He was a police chief, you'll remember, in Benton County before he was sentenced to prison for a deadly shooting and a rape. Now, these are photos taken of Harden shortly after he was captured by search teams on Friday. Now, authorities have been on high alert since then. He was found on the run for nearly 2 weeks and was tracked to a wooded area about 1.5 miles from the prison he escaped. The Department of Corrections say they found him thanks to the sharp noses of tracking dogs and relentless efforts of federal and state law enforcement agencies. But before the manhunt came to an end, Republican Senator Tyler Dees and fellow lawmakers sent a letter to the state's prison board calling for a full review of his escape, demanding answers on how a man as dangerous as Harden could just walk out.
Because we obviously have a problem when the worst of the worst offenders are escaping and out on the streets. Mr. Harden is a violent offender. He's a psychopath murderer. In fact, there's a reason we locked him up.
Well, the senator serves on the legislative subcommittee and oversees the state's corrections system. But beyond the escape itself, he says the incident raises deeper questions about the state's overall prison infrastructure, pointing to the ongoing debate over building a new correctional facility. The Arkansas Legislative Council will meet later this month. And now to the latest discussion on homelessness and housing insecurities in Fayetteville. Over the weekend, a public meeting hosted by the city gave people a chance to voice and share their concerns about the rise in homelessness. The mayor, Molly Ron, took to the forefront of the questions and says people believe city leaders need to do a better job.
What I'm hearing is a lot of frustration, a lot of helplessness, a lot of feeling like this is a problem, that homeless in our community is growing.
Homelessness has been around for a long time in Fayetteville and everywhere else. It's not like it's new. Yeah. It's a matter of, well, what are they actually going to do?
Well, Mayor Ron says the city needs to look at long-term solutions, and they need help from the entire community to address the problem. In other news this morning, President Trump says he's prepared to deploy more troops as immigration clashes in Los Angeles now enter a 4th day. The protests began Friday after immigration officials ramped up raids in that area. The president then bypassed the state's governor to deploy at least 2,000 National Guard troops. Naomi Ruckham has more.
Violent clashes in Los Angeles County as anti-ICE protesters take to the streets, with some people setting cars on fire and shooting off fireworks at police. President Donald Trump has deployed National Guard troops, bypassing California Governor Gavin Newsom.
I did call him the other night. I said, look, you got to take care of this, otherwise I'm sending in the troops. That's what we did.
Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass have appealed to protesters for peace while blasting the president's move as inflammatory.
I don't want people to fall into the chaos that I believe is being created by the administration.
Newsom has requested that the White House rescind the deployment of National Guard troops, calling it a serious breach of sovereignty. Meanwhile, the U.S. military has confirmed to CBS News that 500 active duty Marines are prepared to deploy if ordered to do so.
We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
Los Angeles police say dozens of arrests have been made and multiple officers have been injured in the clashes.
This thing has gotten out of control.
It all comes as a new CBS News poll finds that 54% of Americans support the Trump administration's deportation program. For some LA residents, the issue hits close to home.
People are taken from their houses, from their workplaces, for no reason.
Overnight, the city of Glendale in Los Angeles County announced that it's terminating a contract to house immigration detainees. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Well, the violent clashes in Los Angeles also come as President Trump's new and expanded travel ban kicked in overnight, restricting travel for 19 countries. And in Tennessee, several people were airlifted to hospitals after a skydiving plane crashed over the weekend. The twin-engine Otter was landing at the airport in Tullahoma, about 75 miles south of Nashville on Sunday. An eyewitness reports it came in so low it clipped trees. There were 20 people on board.